it might have been 2 days later. It was a week before the show. I get a call from casting saying, "Hey, do you want to compete?" And I was like, "Yeah." You mean, do I want to
Duh.
compete? What question is that? Oh my God.
Man, man, you think by now, after all the people that have invested their money in Zoom now, they'd be able to fix all this stuff.
I know, right? Something so simple, a computer restart, it's all good.
Oh man, dude. Well, we did it. I'm glad we were able to get it down. How was your day?
It was good, man. How was yours? You're only it's what time is it over there?
I'm halfway through my day. I'm in the future
Halfway
though.
through.
So it's was it 12:13 tomorrow for you?
Tomorrow for us, right?
Yeah, so it's gonna be a glorious evening. So
That's great.
yeah. How was the weekend? Because I think you had some visitors, didn't you?
Yeah. I I feel like we oh my God, it was crazy. Austin Gray was here, and I feel like I'm like hungover, but from working out and being so tired. We went. I got like I don't know. Oh God, we were all over the place, training and driving and seeing things left and right. It was crazy, but it was good.
Ah, that's awesome. Was there a comp or is he just spontaneous trip?
No, so he's on his way down to Florida for Thanksgiving,
Ah,
and
okay.
it was like cheaper for him to stop in Philly, which happens to be like an hour and a half from me.
Okay.
Um, and he was like, "Hey, can I come up?" And I was like, "Yeah, why not?" And went and picked him up in Philly. Came up, he spent a few days here. We trained, and I dropped him off this morning
Oh wow.
at the airport, and then he's on his way to Florida.
Oh, that's crazy. It sounds like my trip when I was over there before. It was just insane. It was like flew into New Jersey from where was I coming from? Houston. Dad picked me up, had to drive to upstate New York to see Lucio, and then
Yep,
we
yep.
then drove from Grit to Stamford to train with Joe,
Oh my God.
and then on the way back to his place, because he's like 45 minutes from his gym, we stopped off at Grit at like 1:30 in the morning, trained, and then drove back to his place. And then we had dinner, I don't know, like 4 in the morning, but it was like 24 hours of, because
Of
I
just
think I woke up at
nonstop
4.
routine.
So it was just yeah.
Walking around the next day, you're just straight zombie. You're like,
Oh, it was bad. It was bad, but it was good fun. I don't
Yeah,
regret
yeah. It's
it.
always fun. It's worth it.
Oh man, dude, thank you so much for coming on, man. I've been watching your progress and your posts for quite some while, and really really have enjoyed your content, man. Like
Thank you, thank you.
your courses and your links and everything it just flows so nicely.
Thank you.
It makes me very jealous of my 5'2" frame. Can't do it, and then I watch this season and see Nate smack
Yeah.
just flowing through everything, and I'm like, man, okay. There's
That's
no
like, all
okay.
right, it's possible.
So, oh man, but no, it was great. It was
Watching
obviously
some of your videos today. I
sorry.
saw, I saw some links you had going on. They looked pretty good.
They're getting better. They're getting better.
Yeah, I was
I,
watching some recent videos.
I feel like after I was watching the season, I'm like, okay, nah, that's it.
Yeah, yeah,
We gotta
time to
step this
buckle down
up.
and just do it.
Yeah. There's no excuses anymore. So I'm doing my best. But obviously speaking with Abby before, she was saying obviously how you guys met, like way back in the
Yeah,
day, huh?
yeah, we've been together for 8 years now. So we met in college about 9 years ago. So yeah, we've
Wow,
been a while.
that's awesome. That's awesome. Longer than some marriages, so
Yeah.
that's epic. So, how did you find yourself getting into gymnastics and into sports? Were you always very athletic when you were young, or were you a nerd, or like what kind of
No,
kid, what kind of kid were you?
I, I guess I was crazy. My parents said that I used to climb everything. They would find me on top of the house or on top of the like some structures in the like whatever, anything you name it. I was climbing it. We had a playground in the back that I was always on top. And um, at one point, I remember them telling me that I tried to climb the railing to the World Trade Center. We were on top of it,
Oh
and
my
I was
god!
like, climbing on top of it. And I guess at some point they were like, all right, we got to get involved in some sort of something. And gymnastics came up, and I started when I was about 4, and that was it. It just took off from there.
Oh my goodness. And I don't know how many people were fortunate enough to. I still remember going up there many years ago.
Yeah.
Before it came down, and just the
Yeah.
view is unreal. So you must be insane if you were prepared to do that. 3 years old.
A little bit.
No, that's awesome. So, what did you like about gymnastics? What did it give you?
Honestly, there's my favorite thing, and still to this day about it, is there's always something new to learn. Like there's always something to progress towards. So like it's like a never-ending progress that you could be made. So I like things that are challenging and can keep me focused on it for a while. So
Yeah.
gymnastics like that. Like I did things like swimming, I ran track, I played baseball for a little bit, but like gymnastics, it was just always something that like, oh, I can get better at this. I can get better at this. And I personally like that.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Did you have Olympic aspirations?
I feel like everyone does when they're young. Like I did the Olympics. I definitely like kind of hold close to my heart. Just because gymnastics, like that's where you want to go and whatever. But I had some like a little bit of a rough gymnastics go. Like a lot of the gyms in Long Island, since the dying sport, they were closing. I had to find gyms. I would pretty much travel wherever I could to get a place to train.
Wow.
And yeah, it was kind of rough. Gymnastics on Long Island wasn't the best. So I did what I could to get it through and get to college.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
So
I ended up at a gym that was about an hour and a half drive out from where I was. So I traveled out there as much as I could. I'd spend my summers sleeping there
wow.
out at the gym, or sleeping at friends' houses, whether it was in the gym, a friend, a coach, or something. So I just made it work.
Oh, absolutely. What was your favorite apparatus?
High bar
High
and
bar?
parallel bar. Yeah, swinging things.
Yeah, that makes sense now.
And always high flying and yeah, by far my 2 favorite events.
It's funny. It's interesting because as I speak to people and I'm starting to recognize a pattern, and as soon as they start, because you obviously you see people with a whole bunch of different skills, and you ask them,
Yeah.
so how did you start? They go, oh well, my mother had to pull me out of the tree, and I'm noticing this consistent pattern of how people were as kids. It's quite funny.
Putting it into a healthy outlet instead of jumping out of a tree or something.
Oh, that's awesome.
Even now, I'm still climbing trees. Like,
oh,
can I
man.
climb this? Can I climb that?
Oh no, it's epic. It's funny because I've come into Ninja probably in a like I've noticed everyone's fearless.
Yeah.
Everyone I've spoken to is fearless, and I don't think I am naturally. I think I've had to like slowly
Progress towards that.
progress towards that.
Yeah.
And I just find it interesting, just the consistency across everyone I'm speaking to, at least at a higher level, and it always
Yeah.
starts with everyone's fearless. Like, yeah, man, I just want to jump out of a plane or something, or I just want to, and it's like, man, do you think you obviously always like that? You were just born. Do you feel like you were born like that, or did
Yeah.
that
I mean,
develop?
so what's interesting is like, so through up until college and whatever, I was like all about it. Whatever I can do, let's just send it. I got into college and same thing. I was like, let's go. Like no matter what it is, let's just do it. Try it, this and that. But I noticed that as I got older in gymnastics, I started to get more fearful because I noticed the things that could go wrong, and I was getting towards the end of my career. I was getting quote unquote a little bit older, and you don't recover as quick, and like things started to pile up in my head. But now that I'm in Ninja, I don't have a fear like at all. Like there's absolutely nothing that I'm fearful about in this sport. So it was interesting because I wasn't fearful, and then I started to get fearful, and then now that I'm in something else, like there's no fear in here. Like I'll go for anything, anytime, any day for the most part.
How interesting.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
fascinating.
I try. Like sometimes I'll sit back and I'm like, why? And I just think it was because I was getting close. I was getting close to the end of my career, and I was just like done with doing flips, and I didn't like. I just, like almost every move is for what it felt like. Even though I was trained to do everything I was doing, it just felt like it was like a risk, and like, I don't know, like I was gonna fall on my head or something. Um,
Mm. Do you
it was
think
definitely,
maybe, do you think maybe because you kind of lost purpose with it? Like,
honestly, that probably could be it. That probably could be it. My college career didn't go exactly how I anticipated or would have hoped. So that probably, especially as it got to the later years. So yeah, I
yeah.
wouldn't be surprised.
Oh, so interesting. So Abby was telling me about how you got into Ninja and about your first comp. And I think you got, if I remember correctly, you got bribed with pizza.
Oh,
Is it to just to enter?
that, that's
I mean, New York pizza, man. I mean, I would kill for it.
you
Like
can't
it's
go wrong.
no, no, you cannot.
Yeah, we were. Oh my god. Yeah, we were. My buddy Connor Galvin did gymnastics with me, and he was doing ninja. I'm pretty sure she said it in the
Yeah,
whole story in the
yeah.
in her
Tell
interview.
me from your point of view. What's your
So
point of view on it?
I don't know. I just remember we were in a rock climbing gym, and he was like, "Oh, would you want to start training for ninja?" And well, before rock climbing, and I was like, "Yeah, like maybe." I was kind of we were doing CrossFit workouts and things like that, and I was kind of getting like I was just done. Like I needed another sport or something that like more purposeful, like you said before,
Mm.
to get into. Um, and he was like, "Yo, why don't you just come and try some ninja? You can come watch my competition, whatever." And I was like, "All right, maybe I'll come climbing with you whenever you go one day, and just start to get a feel for some things because I know that climbing is obviously a good cross training for ninja."
Mm.
Um, so I went out and he showed me the ropes on some climbing. I had a good time, and his mom somewhere along the line came to the gym where she was there or something, and she was like, why don't you guys compete? And I was like, I don't know, like I'll just watch and I'll see what it's like for the first competition. She goes, listen, I'll take you out for pizza after the competition if you just go. And I was like, all right, let's just go. Let's just send it. You got to train before the comp. It was a New York Ninja comp, so you got to train before it for an hour and then and go
Oh,
into the
that's cool.
competition. And I had no idea what I was doing for the life of me. But we ended up doing okay. So
Do you remember what that run was like for you? Like, were you freaking out? Like, how did you cope?
it was more of just like, oh, whatever. Like I didn't really care what happened because I got to try some of the stuff,
Mm.
but it was just to see what happens, and it was a good check of the baseline, to see how good I would be or whatever. So I just went out there and just tried it, and I did okay, I guess.
That's cool. Did you stuff anything up, or did you complete the whole course?
Uh,
No problems.
I fell on the cliffhanger,
Okay.
which is a very reoccurring issue with my ninja career.
Oh, it's a tricky thing. I see. I mean, I see the crazy moves that you guys are trying to pull. So it's like, oh yeah, man,
It-
just
it-
maybe.
for some reason, cliffhangers just I don't know. For a while, they hated me,
Yeah.
or I hated them, vice versa. Whatever you want to say about them.
So what for you then sparked the interest to continue? What was it after that comp that you went, I don't mind this. I want to, if you
I
remember.
think I don't know. I think it was just that I had fun. It was just something that was it. I think part of it was it reminded me of gymnastics, and I think I missed gymnastics more than I thought I did.
Mm,
And when I got out of gymnastics, I was like, I'm done, like totally done. I'm so done with sports. I felt old.
mm,
I felt like I was just, I just wanted to move on and do other things and whatever. And I realized that I started to fall into like a little rut, let's say. So we started to do some CrossFit training, and like I was still training at the time a little bit, but I started to get a little bit more into CrossFit and stuff. Well, CrossFit training,
mm,
let's say like high intensity interval workouts and things like that. And like that like kind of, it was helping, but not really. So then I realized that I just had a good time when I was out there,
Yeah.
and I needed somewhere to go train. And it brought me back to like kind of like my core and my roots. Um, and it was another connection for me and Abby,
Mm.
to, you know, like, cause we obviously bonded over, over gymnastics. So it's pretty similar sport, and Ninja gave us that bond
Yeah.
also. So
That's awesome. That's great. So she was explaining to me that there was nowhere for you to train, I think, and the only way you could train was through comps, which is I find
we
really cool.
we didn't know anybody. So like,
Ah, okay.
Connor lived like an hour from us, and we didn't know anybody. So we would figure out what competitions to go to, and then just use redemption time as that. And
Mm,
then we eventually started to kind of become friendly with Justin Conway, and realized that he had some ninja night things that were like 20 minutes from my parents' house, which is where we were living at the time.
mm.
And we just started showing up, and then we just became more and more friends, and that's how the training started. But like, it was at a good 3 or 4 months, I would say, that it was just competitions whenever we could, and redemption time.
That's awesome. Just the way, just the mindset of that whole thing, I find fascinating. Did you did you feel nervous with any of those comps in those months, or was it just,
Honestly, I was just going out there and doing it. It was
yeah,
fun at the time. I knew in my head that if I just put together something, I can get through some obstacles. I was capable of getting through some stuff. Um, so I didn't care. I just went out there and was like, let's just see what happens. And as we started to compete more, I started to get more and more nervous, because, you know, it started to become more meaningful, I guess, and more like it was something that could progress and happen. So it's like, it definitely, as I started going, it started, the nerves started kicking in. But the first few, it's like, it's my first one. It's my second one. I don't train for this. It's my third one. You know,
yeah,
you just going
yeah,
out there and just seeing what happens.
yeah.
Um,
So when you first started, what were some of the skills that even you still struggle, like what were you struggling with when you actually started training, or what surprised you?
um, whew. The biggest thing was definitely cliffhangers. You know, just that, and maybe some grip strength in general. My bar grip is good, but when you start to get like onto smaller things, I'm way more than now, because I've obviously been working on it a lot. But
Mm,
it started to like lose it. So the different grips were the things that got me at first. Swinging came pretty natural. The other thing was kind of like relearning how to compete in a way,
mm,
and getting myself into a good mindset. And even still to this day, I have to like really focus in and zone in on it. But that's where, like, as I said before, my college career didn't go as I had really hoped. I
mm,
didn't really get to compete as much as I wanted to. And the one like real big shot that I got, I went out there and fell.
mm.
So this is kind of like me, like making sure I don't relive that moment in a way. So like that's where um, things started to, you know.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, I think
Um,
it's like,
so
yeah,
those are the biggest challenges to overcome, I guess.
yeah, no, it's just interesting hearing, what, especially when you look at how they are now, and then you look like when I spoke to Najee, he was like, he couldn't do the salmon ladder, he couldn't do the warped
Yeah,
wall, he couldn't do all these things that now when we watch, he's doing
it's so
stuff
easy.
that, well, he's doing stuff that sometimes people are like can't fathom doing.
Yeah, like his
And I just,
19-foot lache that he's about to do.
oh my God.
Yeah, I told that when I was like, this is going to be so easy to get into. Coming from gymnastics, I
mm,
was like, I'm ready. I'm going to come in. I'm just going to crush it. It wasn't that. I mean, my transition was definitely quicker than like most people would say, because, you
mm,
know, just having the gymnastics background, knowing how to swing and do
mm,
things, like it was definitely a little easier, I would, for us to get into it.
mm.
But it was not as easy as I thought it was going to be. I was so confident. I was like, give me like a month and I'm ready. And that wasn't it at all. Wasn't it at all.
That's amazing. That's awesome. Well, I guess because we all in this. I mean, it makes me wonder then the people who just come in and just destroy. It's not. I mean, it doesn't really happen. It doesn't seem to happen that often because even with the show, they'll make it
Yeah,
sound like, oh, that person's just
just came up out of nowhere.
he's just a concreter, Adam Rail.
Yeah.
He just hammers concrete. That's all he does. He doesn't do gymnastics. Oh, we'll
Nothing
talk
else
about that.
matters.
Yeah.
Just that one part of the story. That's all he does, and he can just crush obstacles.
Yeah. We'll highlight that when he's on stage too. Oh, and when he's done he did gymnastics when he was.
It's all story based.
Well, that's funny, right? Because over here in Australia, we got some pretty strong competitors, and
Yeah, definitely.
Charlie Robbins, who was last Ninja standing, what do we know? Season 3.
Yep.
It was his first season competing, and he has a very keen interest in golf, but he's also done gymnastics since he was like 4. So
Yep.
they were like, oh man, we're going all in on this golf thing. And like that's all they talked about. And you're looking at him and he's got like this, solid frame. He's got these
Yeah,
thick
he's got like the
forearms.
feedback and the.
He's on the
This guy
course.
doesn't play golf.
Oh man, he's on the course in his golf, like in his khakis and people genuinely thought that's all he did. I'm like, come on, look at the way this guy is flying through the course. He's beating some of our top ninjas who as the top ninjas. And this guy's flying through it. Come on, you really think all he does is play golf?
Like, let's think about this realistically.
So
do the same thing with music and stuff too. Like they don't realize that people behind the scenes are grinding it out for a little while before they have their big hit. And it's a hustle.
Oh, 100%. Actually, someone I probably should speak to is RJ Rams because
that's a good one.
He actually, because I don't really know what he has done prior, but
yeah,
it kind of really does seem like he just came out of nowhere and just crushed.
Yeah, he is an animal. He is so strong, and he's still pursuing a pretty big music career, I guess. I don't know that well, but like whatever he's doing, it's working.
Yeah, no, it's just fascinating.
Yeah.
So enough about everyone else. So at what point for you were things starting to get a little bit serious? Because like, were you then thinking about applying for the show? Like even when you started, was that in your mind, or was that like at what point did you make this transition? Like, oh, I actually want to compete on the show.
I think pretty much right away.
Right away.
I said if I'm gonna just start doing this, I might as well apply for the show. Yeah, so it was pretty much right away. But I would say it didn't like truly get serious until it might have been around the time when I realized like, well, first off, I had that whole the first season. It was season 2 of NNL. I think it was my first season. Might have been season 2. I kept like falling on like stupid things, and when I fail at things, I hate it. So I immediately drive the other way, and I'm like, all right, I gotta fix it, and that's what starts to get me more in tune and more serious about things. That's part of like the challenge of that I'm always chasing, I guess, of how I can better myself and take myself to the next level. So when I realized I was falling on all these things, I was like, come on, why? Like, what is going on? So let's start training more so this doesn't happen. And then I didn't make it out to NNL finals, which was in San Francisco, but I went out to watch Abby and Connor, who made it out. And I was like, oh my God, this is terrible. And then I didn't get on to my first season of Ninja Warrior, but Abby got on. And I was like, what is going on? And then like when things like that happen, I dive deeper and deeper and deeper. So that definitely, like, it was an adding of things and like pushing something over a hill. Like, all right, I fell in this. Okay, this happened. It just like started building up. And I also realized that I had a pretty good shot at being okay at this thing. So I said, let's just keep rolling with it. Like I knew I could get through some of those obstacles that I was falling on. So I said, I got to train. Let's do it. Because I shouldn't be falling here and here and here.
No, absolutely. And how did you find testing? Because I understood that you tested that the year that you didn't make it on. Abby got on.
Yeah.
She said you did very well. So
So
how was that for you? How was that experience?
my first year of testing, I did one obstacle and I fell on it. Only one. That's all I got.
Oh
Um,
man.
so I was like, oh no. But I was like super nervous out there. And so I was kind of okay with it.
Yeah.
Like I was mad that I fell on the obstacle and whatever, but it was an experience. I'm kind of glad I didn't get on the show that year looking back on it now. Cause I don't know what would have happened. Like she's probably one of the most mentally like tough people I know. And
Mm,
that's like something that I'm like staying like neutral in the mindset, getting into competitive mindset and just going out there and just doing the job. Whereas I tend to
mm,
overthink things, so I'm kind of
mm,
working my way towards that.
mm.
Um, so my first year, terrible. I did. I think it was I forgot what it's called. The one where you roll.
Oh, is it not it's not the log drop, 'cause the log drop is the vertical one.
Yeah, but it's like the log roll thing.
Yeah, yeah, I know what you're talking
Whatever
about.
it
Yeah.
was, I hated it and never wanted to do it again. Um,
And
and
that was
then
testing, right? That was your
yeah,
first
just
year of
testing.
testing? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, and then year two, I didn't get on again, but I knew Adam Sheldon from the year before, so like he invited me and Connor out to do some early testing and whatever. And that
Mhm.
early testing session um, basically paved the way for like the rest of my like show career, I guess, because I don't think I fell on an obstacle the first day,
Wow.
and I don't think maybe once, and I don't think Connor did either.
Yeah,
So
wow.
that was like a pre-test. So when everyone else started coming in, they would call us up first to like show the obstacles to the other testers or try it out first because they knew that we would get through them. So
Mm,
that built, and then we cleared qualifiers courses, and then we got to we pretty much, I think I fell on like obstacle 8 or something. It was in Philadelphia,
mm.
and we just started clearing obstacles, and then Abby didn't end up competing in Philly that year. She was supposed to, and she went
That's
out to
right.
Minneapolis. So that was
Yeah.
another free trip out to Minneapolis that we went to. And
Awesome.
then at that point, we knew Sheldon and I guess the producers behind the scene well enough that we didn't have to wait in line anymore. We went to a pre-test, and they would just pull us up, and I would just sit back, and they were like, "All right, we need you, get up. We need you, get up." So um, we were just doing really, really well. So we cleared qualifying courses there, pretty much every obstacle.
Mm.
I fell on obstacle 9 or something, but it was a stupid mistake. And
Yeah, wow.
then they invited us out to Vegas. So we went out in Vegas and we were on everything in Vegas.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, so it was kind of like a building of things. I don't even know where I was going with that anymore.
No, I mean it was great hearing about. So what changed? So what changed for you in that second year of testing that you just like was it like a switch? Like what changed for you mentally?
uh, training more. I was just
Yeah.
on obstacles more, and I kind of knew what to expect. So
Okay.
we're going into year two. It just clicked, and then the year after that, which was last was season that was season 10. I competed season 11. I got on the actual show, and I wouldn't have been on if it wasn't for any of that testing.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have been on. I don't know if you heard that story or not.
No, I'm not too sure, but I don't remember hearing it, but do tell me.
So we were they were doing phone calls, right? And whatever, all the videos were in. They're doing calls for the show, and I didn't get one again.
Mm,
So I did. I'm telling you, the amount of work that I was the only like top tester that didn't get a call, and the amount of work that we did was like surreal.
yeah.
I was up all night I did all the demos, all the you name it. You know, and that was out in Vegas, and then so I didn't get a call. So I said, okay, like whatever. about 2 weeks before the show, or a week and a half before the show, I emailed Adam Sheldon, who does, again, like he does all the testing and stuff. And I was like, hey, I didn't get a call, so I guess, I'm going to be out there, can I test? And he was like, of course. He goes, wait a minute, you didn't get a call, but Connor did and whatever. And I was like, yeah. I said, I don't know what's going on. So then he was like, all right, hold on. So then like, it might've been 2 days later. It was a week before the show. I get a call from casting saying, hey, do you want to compete? And I was like, yeah. What do you mean, do I want to compete? What question is that? Like, nah, I'll do it next time. So a week before the show, I ended up getting a call, and it's only because I knew the guy that ran testing. And I later found out, I'm pretty sure that he called the head like producers, like Anthony Storm and whoever else, to say, hey, like, what's going on? And then I guess they gave him the okay.
Wow. That is like,
yeah.
man, that is, wow. I guess I guess they have so many applicants, and they just miss things. And
yeah. Talent only goes so far, like it's a TV show. They need their stories. And I totally understand it. The show thrives off of that. So I respect their decisions each time. I mean, I'm a normal dude. Yeah. A normal dude.
Yeah, I think that's why I like doing this podcast and talking to, experienced ninjas, because I think new ninjas and people who are new to ninja or young or whatever, they need to hear this stuff. They need to understand that, this is a business for them.
Yeah.
They might be friendly, they might be nice people, but they're running a business. And,
That's
they
the
don't
career.
necessarily care about your feelings and you getting on. And
not at all.
Zero. And you can't, I mean, it's good to get cozy, and it's good to form a relationship with these people, but you also have to be prepared at the same time.
Yeah.
For them to say, oh no, sorry, you're not on this year. It's like, but I thought we were friends. I thought we were pals.
That's not how life works, buddy.
Nope.
You gotta put a good, you gotta give them what they want.
Exactly.
And you gotta be good for TV.
Absolutely. So you get that call 1 week out. What was going through your mind? Like, tell me about that experience, then leading up, and then obviously running the course and everything.
I was super excited, but the nerves just came rushing in. I was like, oh no, because I had two weeks or so of me thinking I wasn't getting a call, and I was bummed, obviously, and whatever. And I was, okay, this is another year of me just going out and testing again. And then I got it, and it's just like so many waves of emotion of, oh man, I'm pumped. Now I'm nervous. We're only a week out, and I was ready. I was training like I was ready for it, but mentally I was like, oh, like just totally frazzled by it. But I was more excited than anything. And then I don't know, they just kept piling up by the time we got there.
Too much stress.
Yeah. And then we got up there, and everything, I calmed down when I see the course a little bit, because it puts everything into like a realistic thing. Like, oh, I kind of done these movements. I've done these, like, to me, the show always seems bigger on TV than it is in person. You walk up to the course and you're like, all right, this is all realistic stuff. But when when you see it on TV, it's kind of like, oh, like everything looks pretty big and crazy. And it's definitely intimidating a little bit. Although I don't think the qualifying and finals is as intimidating as Vegas. I think Vegas is a whole story. But yeah, just leading up to the show, the same type of training I did. I didn't really change much. And then the only thing that was really interesting about it was that it was really freaking cold at night.
Oh, that's horrible.
Yeah. So, that was the first night. I screwed up a little bit. It was 30-something degrees. I didn't really warm up properly. I tried to, and then they called me down to the spot, and I thought I had to be ready earlier, but the runs were taking a while. You just never know. I ran with my shirt off, so I was standing there and doing all this stuff. So by the time I ran, I think I was cold again, so I flash pumped on obstacle 5, which was fine. I ended up making it to finals the next night, but that kind of set me off a little bit. So then night 2, I went out and I warmed up a lot, and then they would call me over, and I was like, no. I said, I'm not coming over until I'm ready. I would push them back, and then I ended up making it to Vegas that year. I fell on Angry Birds like the rest of the world, but.
Oh man, so yeah, what city was that? Philadelphia?
Baltimore.
Baltimore, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I remember watching that episode, and just it's crazy. Just that obstacle, and it's not. I mean, yeah, it is complex. At
Yeah.
first, you don't realize it until I tried it at Grip Ninja, and I realized how you're trying to swing your body, but your arms are bent because that's the only way to hold it in position. And I'm like,
I think the grip one was harder than the show one, to be honest with you,
because it's bigger, isn't it?
Yeah, it was a little wider. I don't think the show one was that bad.
Okay.
I just think like people's heads were like just getting in the way, just because you start seeing good competitors go down and that's it. It's just like uh-oh. So right after I ran, ended up I think I ran 15th that night or something, and a bunch of good guys went before me. And then I went, and then by the time like right after me and maybe like 1 or 2 people after, it started to become a race to that obstacle. People were like, oh well, nope, everyone's falling on it. Let's just get there quick. Yeah. And I was like this close. I think I took 10th or 11th or something out of like 12 that were going to Vegas. And I almost missed my spot because at that point, it wasn't fully a race yet, but everyone after me, it was. So I ran it to just go through it like I was going to thing, and I had to complete it, and I almost lost my spot out to Vegas.
Oh man, yeah, and I think that was the year Jamie Ryan didn't make it, obviously, because he was like,
he did that. He wanted to go for the clear, which I thought was so respectable. It was unbelievable. I respect the hell out of him for that.
Oh man, was that the first time? Because obviously season 11, was that the first time the blind catch was introduced into an obstacle? It had never been. Had that ever been seen before? Like the act of catching the unknown?
I don't know. That's a good question.
Because I had never seen anything like that before.
I don't
personally,
know. That was the year they had snapback for the first time, which was another reverse. But I think they had snapback somewhere else too, didn't they? In another city, but I don't know if it was before Baltimore or after Baltimore that they had snapback.
I think
snapback was.
I think it was definitely in a qualifier. It might have been LA, if maybe I can't remember.
Yeah, I don't remember.
I can't remember. I don't remember, exactly.
But what a lot of people, what most ninjas know now, but at the time people didn't know, is that every other city got to try their whatever obstacle it was, like I think it was obstacle 8. Everyone else got to try their obstacle 8 and whatever. We didn't get any test obstacles in the back.
Oh shoot.
Yeah. So we only, everyone else got, I know for snapback, they got 2 tries on the snapback. And I'm pretty sure I forgot what the obstacle is called, where you lâché and you grab the bar and you had to, you grabbed it in the air and you had to land it in the cradle. I forgot what it's called.
Oh, it's not deja vu.
No.
I think I know what you're talking about.
Whatever it was, the bar was suspended. Basically, I think maybe it was magnets or whatever it was, and you had to grab it and put in rungs.
I'm
pretty sure they got to try that. I'm pretty sure we were one of the only cities that didn't get to.
I guess maybe because just the size of it and just the contraption, and maybe they just. I don't know.
It's probably too complex to put up, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Oh man, because I can't remember which city they put snap. I don't remember which one it was, but I would have been very interested if maybe if it was one of the later cities, perhaps after they realized with Angry Birds. Oh man, it was a bloodbath.
Literally, it's literally a bloodbath.
We need to get these competitors through. Because it was very. Speaking to Joe, obviously, that was the year I don't say his name, he who must not be named,
Yes.
took the title. But Joe was saying when I spoke to him, I can't remember when, a while back, he said they definitely made stage 2 easier. He
Oh,
says
100%.
he says nothing against everyone finishing, but I mean
Yeah.
to have the little amount of people that normally finish stage 2, and then suddenly what is it 20 clears?
Yeah, it was that was ridiculous. So
Yeah.
I failed stage 1 that year, and I ran stage 2 as a test run, right? With like under the exact same circumstance. So I got my two tries at snapback, and I just went up there and ran,
Mm.
and I cleared it with. I'm pretty sure it would have been like the third fastest time.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is way too easy. It was way
Yeah.
too easy.
Wow.
I pretty much linked the Grim Reaper things at the end. Snapback was I loved snapback as an obstacle.
Mm. Mm.
But like everything was just too straightforward. The year before that, with the wing nuts, was that course was insane.
Mm.
Like with the big throws of the wing nuts, it was intimidating. You were super high in the air. This course just didn't really have that into it. The grim sweeper things were too straightforward.
Because they still look tough.
It
Like,
was fun. It was fun. Don't get me
yeah.
wrong. It was a super
Yeah.
fun obstacle, but it just didn't have the same like lengthiness and feel for it that it did the year before. Granted, I was a little bit more trained this year, that past year,
Yeah.
um, but the obstacles were definitely longer the year before.
Yeah, it's very interesting. So I don't know what the run order was of filming, maybe if you remember or not, because I remember Matisse. I think Matisse was the only person, the kid, I think he was the only person to fail at that obstacle who had gotten to that point. So I don't know if I remember correctly. I don't think anyone else who had gotten there actually failed.
No, I think there was only like two or three people that failed, and Dave Kavanaugh fell on the salmon ladder, I think, or something.
Yeah. So do you think maybe I, I don't know if he was one of the first people to run, but do you think maybe him stuffing up kind of when everyone realized, okay, that like they found the beta for it? Because it just seemed after him, it just seemed clear, clear, clear. It was just,
I don't remember. I don't remember the order for it.
yeah, I thought you
I'm
would.
telling you, that obstacle was pretty straightforward.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. Fair enough. I
You
think
get
just,
into stage
yeah,
2, and you're going up and doing that. It was a cool concept. I kind of wish they had some bigger gaps in there or something, but they didn't really have the trussing room to do all that.
yeah, true.
So
Yeah, well,
you
that's
live and you learn.
absolutely. So how far did you get? Because it sounded like then you were testing stage 2. So
Yeah,
how far
I
did?
clear I cleared that stage 2.
You cleared.
Yeah, I cleared that stage 2.
Oh wait. So you made it to stage 3?
No, so I fell on stage 1, tested stage 2, and
Okay.
cleared it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I fell on the dipper in stage 1.
I was gonna be like, yo, that's man, you should have been
Nah.
better this season and the next first season when we get to stage 3. I think that did happen though. I think it was some kid, some big tall dude. I think he was like one of the only 2 people or something to get to stage 3 on his first season.
First season around. That would have been cool. It is what it is.
Did you test stage 3
Actually,
at
the
all?
the dipper story is funny.
Yeah, tell
Um,
me.
so
Wow.
so the year before I went up, and when I was testing, so that was season 10 that Abby made it out to Vegas. I went out and tested. I think it was whatever it was.
Yeah.
We're in season 12 that just happened, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So season 11 I competed. Season 10 Abby was out in Vegas.
Yeah.
So that year I cleared the dipper. I think almost every time I did it except for once. So I might have missed one dipper that year. And then Abby missed it when she competed. So that's what she went out on. And then the next year she was out testing and I was competing. And she went out and one of the times she went up and did the dipper, if this is the bar, she hit her finger on it like this
Oh
or
no.
something. And it like pushed it away or whatever. So she couldn't catch it. So there I am making fun of her for doing that. And I'm like, just open your hands. Like, how did you catch it like that? Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
And so and behold, I go up there, I lâché, I go and grab the dipper, and boom, He just gets stuck under it, and they pushed the bar away from me, and I was in the water, and I was like, "That's what I get." I said, "I deserved it. I deserved it." I go. It's like, why? Ridiculous.
And that was season 10.
Yeah. So season 10, she fell in the dipper. Season 11, I fell in the dipper.
Okay, now I'm with you.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we obviously I think probably maybe other than Japan and maybe Vietnam, maybe some of the other Asian ones, like most of the other formats around the world are pretty like you know uh, you don't have that kind of length that you do in Vegas for these
Yeah.
big grand obstacles. So a lot of us have never done these full size, unless they've traveled with the international team to
International team.
compete.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
not many of us have physically have touched obstacles of that magnitude.
Caliber. Yeah. I'm telling you, I walked up with that first year I was testing, and I saw like that was season 9 when Abby competed in Cleveland. When I only touched one obstacle, I walked up to the course and I was like, all right, everything looks pretty like fair. Like it doesn't like on the TV show, it looks way bigger. Like it's cool. It looks cool with under all the lights. I love it. But definitely it looks bigger on TV. The year after, I went out to Vegas and I looked at all the obstacles and I was like, whoa. I go, this is the real deal. I go, this is what I expected when I was going into the qualifier and final, like looking at those courses. When I walked up to Vegas, that was the first time I've been intimidated by something.
Wow.
Yeah. That it just, the scale and length and just, it was incredible. Just the production that goes behind it all.
Oh, I can imagine. And then obviously,
Yeah.
like they don't do the mechanized stuff like Japan. Like Japan, you got the moving
Yeah. That I couldn't.
cliffhanger. Oh my
That's
goodness.
wild.
I mean, yeah, I would be very interested. Obviously we've had a few competitors from the US go
Yeah.
to Japan, but I don't know why they seem to struggle. Maybe just I don't know what it is, but you would think by now with the caliber and the strength, especially some of these teens, like
Yeah, I know. I
I,
know.
I think it was the most recent NNL. I saw a clip of Caden Wake.
Oh,
He like jumped out to the vertical limit and just caught it and like no
it's crazy.
like
It's crazy.
adjusting, no struggle, no nothing. And I was like,
He has been so consistent. It's incredible.
it's just
So
amazing.
wild. Yeah. Yeah. We're getting to the point where you got these kids that have been doing it for like 5, 6, 7 years now that are getting a little older and they grew up in the sport, and you're definitely seeing it. You're definitely seeing it.
Oh man, do you feel because I was speaking to Vance on the last episode, and it was interesting hearing his perspective of now trying to compete with the adults. How does it feel on your end? Being older, having these teens.
Yeah.
I mean, like, do you feel like, oh man, do you feel like intimidated or like man, these kids are like they're wiping us out left, right, and center.
um, I see it. Like I see how good they are, and I see them training, but I'm not really intimidated by it. The way I have a lifetime of training, that and experience that, and knowing how to train and being through college and whatever. So I think that's where the differences kind of lie still. Not saying that some of those kids are incredible and they're way up, definitely up to par and caliber and whatever. But they still got some developmental stuff to go through, strength and power. Yeah, I see it. I see it, and I'm watching. And to be honest with you, some of them have been doing it longer than me, so I'm in some ways learning from them still, even though I'm older. Like I watch and learn. But like endurance, I definitely see endurance differences, and I definitely see some power differences. That at least for me personally, I know I still have some advantage. but give it a few years, and I know that they're going to be rocking me soon.
Especially once they're, 17, 18,
Yeah, yeah. When they
19.
start to fully develop and hit those prime years, like,
Because I
yeah,
even chatting with Vance, and I look at him physically, and I've looked at 2 years or a year difference in photos,
yeah.
and he was like screwing, like, he was small, and then he's filled out, and it's like, yo, he's still
Like, whoa.
15. What's gonna happen when he's 17?
Yeah, yeah.
or, or when he's
The only
19?
thing that makes me nervous is they don't. I'm not into. Some of them do, but I'm not entirely sure all of them know how to like fully take care of themselves.
Mm.
And like training wise, like they just go out and they just go and go and go and just try and send things and um, and that's good. But if you see, like, you could see a lot of them, they're starting to, like, their backs are their posture's starting to change, and they're really getting closed in here. Um, and they're tendonitis, and you're hearing about like this and that. And I'm like, I'm 27 years old. I have no issues,
Mhm.
So you're 16. You shouldn't be dealing with that yet.
No.
I did almost 20 years of gymnastics. I'm going on my fourth or something, fifth year of Ninja, whatever it is, and I'm like, I'm essentially pain free. You
Mm.
at 15, 14, 15, 16 should not be, wearing braces, should not be having KT tape on, so at some point, I'm hoping whether, if some of them have discussions with me or even some people that might be smarter than me,
Mm.
about training and making sure that their body's posture stays right and they're not just working on their pulling, they're offsetting with some pushing muscles and making sure everything stays in tune, because that's how you don't get the tendonitis and things like that.
Oh, absolutely. I mean,
So those are
my
the things
back,
that scare me for them.
yeah, well, my background originally is sports science, so I was
So
working with
you know.
junior elite AFL players over
Oh,
here,
that's crazy.
and it's the same things. Like, you watch these kids, and these kids are prepared or preparing to be drafted into these professional teams, and we don't have the same level. It's now becoming a little bit more like that, but the sport, the strength and conditioning principles in schools and in the college, and then I feel like it's a much better pathway, whereas we don't have that
Yeah,
necessarily. you know
yeah,
in AFL, these kids are being drafted at 18 years old. They've been in a pathway for
yeah,
skills, but a
yep,
lot of them, unless they're just ready to go, there's there's some kids who are of high talent and lower talent who are physically ready to go, but a lot of them aren't, and they
yeah,
come in, and all this extra work has to be done, and a lot of them have already had major surgeries and injuries going into profession,
yeah,
like into the
into that.
professional.
Yeah,
And it's like, yo, you look at it, and I kind of see similarities between these kids. So these AFL players, when they're 15, 16, they're still playing potentially other sports. They're still, which is good up until that age, especially if you're going to start
of
focusing
course.
on that professional,
Yeah, it's good to be
professional development.
well-rounded in other things.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But then they're doing uh, uh, like talent pathway football. So then that has its own league. Then they have to play school football because a lot of them
Yep.
have scholarships in private schools. So they have to play for their school as well, because there's from a school end there's money and stuff in that as well.
Yeah, of course.
They have to play locally because they have commitments there. So it's them trying to juggle these three things. And that's what I have found in AFL in these kids has caused so many injuries, leading them
Yeah,
into their professional sport, which is not good, because then if the clubs see these kids as liabilities, they're
done.
going,
You're done. Oh
yeah,
yeah, yeah,
So
totally
yeah,
done.
it is interesting that you say that. I have been meaning to probably reach out to Chris, actually, have a chat with him about some stuff. But do you? So that's crazy. So kids already having tendon issues, and
Yeah,
like at the
yeah,
top, like those top kids.
yeah. Oh yeah,
Wow.
yeah. And I'm not sure that they know how to take care of themselves fully. Especially with their shoulders this sport is still too new to see what injuries might come from it. To me, it reminds me of gymnastics a lot. So like I've seen it and I know it, but a lot of the kids don't, this is their first thing that they're doing. And now it's starting to progress to where it's like the only thing that they're doing, but they're not doing anything to become like full, like strong all around, let's say. It's just ninja strong, which is
Yeah.
okay, but you're not really a full athlete if you're not strong. All around.
No,
and,
it's just,
and so
yeah,
fully taking care of yourself, I guess you should say.
yeah, no, it's very, very interesting and very, very important.
Yeah. So I mean, the more people talk about it, some kids are gonna listen, and some people, like I try and do what I can to make sure, like the kids that I coach and talk to and whatever. But my platform is only so big,
yeah.
So like, but the more people hear it and talk about it, someone's gonna get moving on
Mm.
it, I guess.
Oh, absolutely. Especially the shoulder stuff. I mean, because I watch these kids and they're throwing the biggest moves,
Yeah.
and it's super impressive. And obviously, if you're like yourself or oh my god, I just had a mental blank.
Caleb, yeah.
Caleb. Yeah, let's make sure I get the pronunciation right. Uh, and I watch, the difference with you guys when you're linking stuff, and even Najee, is your ability to transfer the load.
Yeah.
As soon as you catch something, I can watch, because obviously I've got this background. I can actually
Yeah,
see.
yeah. You break it down a little
I
bit.
can actually see how the weight or the load moves through the different joints of the body
Oh, cool.
as you move. So, and I'm not that fluid. I've got obviously my own issues.
Yeah.
Not, but it's interesting when you watch people like yourself. It's so fluid because
Yeah.
you can just transfer that weight as soon as you catch it. It's almost like it just bypasses the shoulder. It goes through past the shoulder, through the core, and through the whole, probably all the way to your toes, really.
Yep.
And and that's why when you are doing these big moves, you almost can't hurt yourself, because
Yeah.
it's so effortless to transfer that load.
Yeah.
It's probably one of the hardest things to probably learn. It's going to take a while, but I
Oh,
think,
it definitely does. It definitely does to be that smooth through them. Yeah, but you keep doing it, and I don't know. I don't know how. I don't know what I do different or what, but I haven't had any shoulder injuries. Knock on wood. So.
touch that wood. Touch. Don't. No, it's just fascinating. So, for you, let's say you're trying to help, like myself, or someone new who isn't as fluid. What are some of the critical stuff that one needs to know when they're trying to expand their body awareness? Like, what are some of the
Good question.
the stuff that you go through mentally, if you're trying to learn you're trying to place yourself in a different body position? How do you go through that, and then how would you teach someone?
That's hard because I learned a lot of the body control through gymnastics, and I don't always think that I'm the best at teaching some of that stuff. Like I got some drills that I can help with getting turnover in a lache, and like things that I have some drills with, maybe doing a little bit of a sideways lache and landing and different positions and things like that. But I feel like a lot of that just comes from doing it and trying to get your body to work, because I can tell somebody how to do it, but your body still has to figure it out. Like I might fully understand it, but from you know, that all has to interlink from your brain down to your toes and through your arms and whatever. Like if you're throwing a sideways lache or I don't know. Honestly, really what I do all the time is I just get up and I say, all right, how can I mess myself up today? You know, like I'll go up onto a wing nut and I say, can I get from, like we were trying something the other day, can I get from this wing nut to something that's angled and beside me? And if I can, what kick am I going to do and how am I going to do it efficiently? You know, so I figure out the kick and then I'll play with it a little bit and then I'll just try and do it in less swings per se. Like I put up one video a while ago where I did a wing nut to another wing nut and found the timing of the swing, kicked forward and 180 back off to a bar, right? And you can see and it was about I think it's 6 or 7, maybe 8 feet off of the difference, right? So it was again a 7-8 foot 180, I think. Don't quote me on that. Somewhere around there. But I put up all of the turns that I took to figure it out to make it more efficient. And you can see like the thought process going of turn 1 was like 4 or 5 swings, figuring out the kick and circling. And then I was like, didn't work, drop. Turn 2 was kicking, you know, finding the swing. And then by the end of it, I was able to get it in one swing. So I would lache, grab, kick, and get off. You know, so like I try and find things to just like totally screw me up and then just break them down and make it more efficient. And I actually had that move in a course that night and I stayed extra time that day. Like let's say we're done at like 11 o'clock. I was there till like 12:30 messing around with it to make sure I like really zoned into it. Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing. I think that's the thing. It's trying to add one more thing after the fundamental skill, which is here to here. It's like, okay, well, you know, how do you make it a little harder and then a little harder after that? And I think I get in a bad habit and I'm trying to break it is once I can do fundamentally the obstacle, I was, you know, always just happy I could do that because I never thought I could do anything fancy. You know, I watch Ashlyn and those guys, my friends, you know, now after seeing Najee, now they're trying to do 5.1 meters, whatever that is they're trying to break or get close to Najee's
record.
Yeah. And then, you know, now they're doing like, you know, laches from a wing nut up high to catch some of the trussing. And, you know, and, you know, for me, I look at that, I go, why am I even going to bother? It's just, you know, I'm too short or whatever. It's just Whereas, you know, I'm starting to realize because they do that and because you do stuff where you start adding in these weird moves, it might seem like there's no purpose to it. But what's happening is you're adding different movements to your arsenal. And then every time you guys see a new obstacle, especially on the show, you might go look at it and you go, oh, you know, you remember because you did something maybe somewhat similar, or you have a beta, you have something that I could probably try that. And
spot on.
And then you pull that out, and then you come up with some funky new move because you know every year, and even with the NNL, they're coming out with some new funky obstacles and, you know, sideways transfer, you know, sideways catch upside down, flip.
So my theory on that is like, there's only so many types of movements that there could possibly be, you know, and people can only get so creative that like, it's very rare that you're going to see something that's like just totally out of the blue that you've never done and moved. So I put myself in all different sorts of variations and things like that. Because, you know, like the lightning bolts, remember the lightning bolts? You hop over. So that was in Philly when I tested. I was the first one up on that obstacle and I cleared it my first try.
Wow.
So I was the first tester up there, first one to do it. And all I did was I said, okay, this movement's similar to a salmon ladder and similar to a flying bar. You know, so I'm going to pop my hips, I'm going to pull, and I'm going to just land it in a cradle, just like a salmon ladder and a flying bar, you know, same thing. And, you know, you just start to like it might all I say this saying, it's kind of stupid. It's like um, all the obstacles or movements are the same. They just look different. You know, like you can get up on a twist and fly or whatever, and it might twist a little bit, but
Mm,
essentially it's just a trapeze swing.
mm,
You know, so if you know how to do a trapeze swing, you can get up and do the twist and fly, right?
mm,
And okay, now there's the turning element. So now you just put it on a ring or something like that. If you can swing on something from one point and you know how to turn and kick, if so be it that needs to happen, if you need to
mm.
turn and kick, then there you go. So you just start like I recognize the patterns in the obstacles, and I just try and combine whatever movements I can and put them out there.
That is so interesting. Like just the way you frame that, it just makes total sense. Ever since I learned the hip, like, you know, when I used to do flying bar, it was just, you know, it was probably a bit of hip, but it was more, you know, slamming in with the arms.
Yep, yep,
As soon as my friend, you know, taught me the hip hop and drive the
yeah.
hip up, that is a complete and utter game
Changes everything.
change everything. I mean, I barely miss the flying bar now, and you know now
Yeah, yeah.
double gap, like it's 1.5 times the distance.
Yep.
Even that, I can just minimal,
Yeah, you're just floating into it. Like, yep, there it
yeah,
is.
big hips, and it's like just these little things, and you know, like you said, a little bit of flying bar, lightning bolt, and when I tried the lightning bolt at grit, you know, 1:40,
Yep. Yeah,
50
that
in the
one move.
morning, you know, at first I was like, oh, okay, all right, you know, but then it was just exactly like what you said. You know, I was like, if I just drive the hips up, just like I'm doing on the flying, but you know, and maybe it's
Yeah.
second go. I think, yeah, it was a second go. I got it.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's like, you know, just trying to remember how all these movements link together. And I think this is one of the things with a lot of new ninjas, and you always feel sorry for them because they have absolutely no idea
Yeah.
what they're in for. And this is why, you know, I created this podcast, because I realized so many people don't have this experience. And if it's your first season, you know, it might be your only season. You don't know.
Yeah, yeah, it's true.
You know, if you don't stand out, it's
Yeah,
it's like
and
it's like anything.
the one
So
and done.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's it. So there's so much someone has to learn before they even get on, if they want to actually do well.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Or even do well and compete in the sport in general, you
mm,
know, and advance throughout, I don't know, NNL or whatever other leagues are going to pop up from it.
yeah, absolutely.
It's good. I think it's good to have things like this.
Oh, 100%. And I get to meet, you know, I get to meet new people, get to having a good chat. So it's awesome. I recognize we've been chatting for ages, and I'm sure you probably want to eat. One last question that I have is,
You're good, man. I got time.
oh,
I'm
you got
chilling.
time? Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
So, man, when I was speaking to Najee, like we were chatting quite late, and I'm like, yo, I think it's like midnight for you, man. You probably, it's like,
I'm up all night. I don't care. I enjoy doing these things.
oh, that's good.
Like I
That's,
love meeting new people and hearing like what they have to say about things and you know and bouncing training ideas and you name it. You know, so
no, that's awesome. All right, well,
fun. That's how we learn.
yeah, absolutely. So, what has for you been what's your mental strategy? Because I feel like we both have a very similar in a sense of, we overthink sometimes, and I've
Yep.
had to really learn how to pull back on that. I want to
Yeah.
see if we're quite similar. So, what's your strategy and how you overcome your sort of your focus?
So honestly, part of overcoming the mental thing was I had a realization. So when I was doing gymnastics, I kind of I'm gonna call it like beat around the bush a little bit, you know.
Mm,
Whereas like essentially the sport is you get your skill, you do a routine, you compete,
mm,
right? You get a skill, you put it in a routine, you know, you perfect it, and you compete it.
yeah,
Whereas, you know, a lot of the times I would get a skill and I would just keep practicing it and kind of maybe put it in a sequence, and I'd have to do it a certain way and whatever. So when I finished and I started to get into Ninja, I recognized that and I said, that's not happening, which is part of the reason why I run so many courses. So I took, what's the name of the game to this, right? And essentially it's clearing a course,
mm,
right? So cool. So that's one aspect. I'm gonna take a course. I'm gonna set it up to be nearly impossible
mm,
with all these different movements and whatever. I'm gonna fail on them. I don't care what happens on them because like you essentially, I want to set myself up to fail, because eventually I'll learn how to get through these movements and all these different things. So I said, let's run courses. And then that would eliminate, if I'm comfortable running courses, it'll eliminate any nerves that I have on a new situation in a course, right? So if I'm constantly running courses, I get up and I step, that's the name of the game. That's what I'm used to. This is what I'm doing day in, day out. So now when I go up and compete, it's just another day of competition, another day of practice. It's just another course. I'm just going out there, I'm doing my thing. Another thing I do late now, I thought of this last year when I was going and competing, was I realized that I was setting up a lot of the courses. So I started to realize that, like, if a lot of people, it's good to visualize, like mentally you should go out and visualize and whatever. So my way of doing that was walking through the course and speaking about it like I set it up. So I would go through and be like, all right, this is and I would explain it. I would explain it to myself like I was explaining it to whoever I'm training with. Because I set up a lot of courses for me, Abby, and my buddy Brandon, whoever. It's like I'm always setting up the courses. I'll think of the movements, the whatever. So I would go out and I would literally explain it to myself. I'd be like, okay, this is obstacle 1. We're going to go through here. This is why I did this movement. This is why this and this. So I would put it in like it's just another day, like it's my course. So that was another thing. And then now this latest thing is I've been reading this book and doing some research on mental whatever, and it's by this guy Trevor Moawad, and it's called It Takes What It Takes. I have it right here actually. Okay. And it's the idea behind neutral thinking instead of like positive thinking and negative thinking. So like it's basically keeping yourself in the moment on the obstacle that you're on, and having essentially no emotion attached to it. So like this is the task at hand, whatever, like you're not thinking about the outcome, you're just thinking about what you have to do to get it done. And if it doesn't go to plan, being able to release it. And if it does go to plan, being able to release it as well, because that shouldn't carry into either the next obstacle or the next training session or whatever. So he talks about how like guys like Russell Wilson and Michael Johnson and whoever, you name it, have all these different things, like different mental things that they go through to make sure that they stay in that moment, because you don't want to, like if Russell Wilson, the Seahawks quarterback, if he throws an interception, he can't carry that into the next time he steps out to the field. He's got to be on point, whether it's a Super Bowl or, especially in like those high end situations. Yeah. And honestly, so far this year, since I've read this book and since I've been looking into guys like Kobe Bryant and Michael Jordan and things like that, because like those are your top guys. And I feel like it's always good to learn from the top guys and what they're thinking about and how they're doing things and whatever. I started to just apply like different things that they're doing. And I haven't had the best start to an NNL career this season, NNL season. Like typically I don't want to sound cocky, but like last year, the past 2 years I went out and won my first competition both times. And then last year I think I placed in almost every comp and won a good portion of them. So, and then this year, I kind of fell on some weird stuff, but like I'm kind of annoyed that I haven't cleared anything, but mentally I've been, I think, the best I've ever been.
Yeah.
So even though I've fallen and whatever, and I'm annoyed, I've been the most clear thinking throughout the course, the most smooth I've ever been. I know exactly what's going on, how I want to do things at all points. Whereas back like last year in the beginning of the season or the year before that, it was kind of just like, here we go, and just whatever, constant thoughts, constant nerves and whatever. So
interesting.
I don't know. I have some things that are starting to work, I guess, and diving into them.
Yeah.
I don't know. Was that all? That's, I don't know. That was kind of a lot, but
no, right. It's all good. I mean, it's just very interesting because you're reinforcing a lot of the things that I've been picking up from everyone else I've been talking to.
Really?
Yeah, yeah,
That's good to hear.
yeah. No. You know, when I started this podcast, yes, it was for other people, but it was also for me to try
Yeah.
and talk to all these pros so that I could
You can
like
learn.
I could
Yeah.
learn and go, what is going on here?
Yep.
You know, obviously they're physically good, but you know, when you look at someone like, you know, Daniel Gill, who just it doesn't seem to matter how many talented people are even behind him,
Yeah.
the way he just is like he just he appears so cool, calm, and collect. Why is he like that? You know,
Yeah. Yeah. There's got to be a reason,
there has to
and
be a reason. Even Jessie Graff, who has, you
yeah,
know, the pressure of being told she's the greatest human ever to existed, which
it's
you
true.
know she might very well be, but you know how she consistently maintains a high level of performance,
Yeah.
and it just appears, you know, so cool, calm, and collected. And it's just I find that very fascinating, and it's interesting. Like I did a round table during our season here. This season just passed, and I had
Yep.
I think it was like our episode 3 or episode like heat or qualifier 3, and I had like 7 competitors, like all the top guys.
Yep.
And it was very interesting when I was asking them these questions, and they're like, "Yeah, no, you know, we're just when we see the course, we automatically assume they can do it.
Yeah.
What they're looking at is they're just looking at how the tester does it. They're looking
Yeah.
at how he does it. They're looking at, you know, things like, okay, when he hits the tramp, how big, where is he hitting the tramp to, you know,
Yeah.
to where is he reaching when he grabs the obstacle? Uh, how does it load? You know, how does he absorb it? Is it springy? Is it, you know, they're just looking at the
Yeah.
fine things of
The
each obstacle,
detail, the little bit of details
a
from it.
little bit of details, because they
Yeah.
already know they can do it. There was no doubt in anyone's minds across the board that
Interesting.
they were going to not be able to complete. And I went, man, that's so fascinating. And it, I don't know if you were at the 2018 maybe NNLs. I'm trying to remember. Or no, the Hartford. The
Yeah. Yeah.
the
Yeah.
okay, yeah. Because I remember Abby was there. I didn't probably see you guys there. There was so many people
Yeah. Yeah.
because I was a part of that big cohort of Australians. And you know, obviously, that first obstacle was just on everyone's mind.
Between
And
1 and 3 was ruthless.
oh, it was crazy. And I went through a very I, that event completely changed everything for me and how I looked at Ninja.
Really?
Yeah, because I knew I was up against. I was with all you guys. I'm like, man, I'm crap. Like I'm not like. I was just happy to be there.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
even like I was more stressed about the international qualifier than I
Yep.
was about that. I mean, yeah, everyone was nervous, but I was like, man, I ain't gonna do well anyway. So, you know, whatever. But you know, we got the video of the course, so I was able to see it, and I thought, you know what? Let me think about how this works. And I was looking at how you know, he who must not be named was doing it, and went,
Yeah.
okay, all right, that's how you do it. And I went, that's how I'm going to do it. Like, I'm going to do exactly what I just saw. So
Yeah.
even though people were dropping off like flies, it didn't occur to me that I couldn't do it. I was just like, why didn't they pay attention to, that's what was going through my mind. I was like, why didn't they pay
Yeah.
attention to how it was
How it's
done?
done.
Because it didn't
Yeah.
look that hard.
Yeah.
And maybe they were hard. I don't know. But I mean, as soon as I got up there, I did it in like 12 seconds.
Yes.
And I was like,
I had to stop watching everybody that
oh,
year.
really?
Yeah, I had to stop watching because I was like, this is way too crazy, way too complicated. It's making me too nervous. I just stopped.
Yeah,
And
okay.
I ran like 10th to last in the last wave or something like that. I said, this is way too much for me to handle.
Interesting. So I think for me, what the changing moment was I went in and I had this plan because I knew how I was going to do it.
Yep.
So when I saw everyone else stuffing up, because I knew my plan based off what I saw was working, and that's how I was going to do it, rather than me getting intimidated by what everyone else feeling, I was thinking, well, they didn't pay attention.
Yeah.
That's how I was
Yeah.
thinking about it. And if anything, it was actually increasing my confidence. I'm like, I know the secret. Like, I know what to do.
I'm good. I got it.
Yeah, I got this. And obviously you're nervous, like, and then you know, everything just takes over. You just get into it. But when I realized, even though that took out, you know, I was watching, Jake Murray, now, you know, all these people I look up to getting wiped
Yeah.
out. Even despite that, and I was still able to do it. I went, oh, maybe it was never really my skills that were the problem. It was the way I was approaching all these courses all the
Yeah.
time. So
The mental
ever since
side too.
then, I've just gone, no matter how complex the obstacle is, I will just come up with a plan for win or for lose.
Yeah.
Goal is to have the plan. And if I execute it well, if I execute it, that's the goal. And if I pass, it's because I executed the plan. And if I stuffed up, it's because something happened or,
Yeah.
but it's this whole, that, like you just said, neutral sort of.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, I'm going to make it, but I said, just, you figure it out, if you don't, it's not a big deal. You just go back and, the way I look at it is if I fall on something, like I fell on a reverse grab this year,
Yeah.
one of the comps.
Yeah.
And I said, okay, cool. I can set that up in the gym. Let's just run it back 100,000 times,
Mm.
So just,
Exactly. And yeah, so maybe it's like, I haven't read that book. Might have to look into it, but
it's good. It's real good.
it kind of sounds similar into what you've been saying as to what I've been realizing through myself,
Yeah.
but then also through listening to all these top level athletes. So
Yeah. I mean, success has traits,
mm,
and if you follow those traits, you're going to be successful, so when you look at the top person in any sport, you just, there's a reason why they're there. If you find that reason and the things that they do and you follow those factors of it, like, there's no reason why you can't be successful also in it.
oh, absolutely, 100%. Joe, I reckon we could probably keep going for another God knows how long, but realize, man, I'm like, man, I gotta get ready for work.
Oh God. All right.
But Joe, this has been absolutely fantastic. I've
Yes. Yeah.
thoroughly enjoyed this. It's
Me too.
been super fluid.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I had a blast.
No, thank you. Thank you for being so keen to jump on and making it work. And I'm glad we could do it before Thanksgiving. I'm sure that's
Yeah.
gonna be
Yeah.
hectic for everyone. But we're what's obviously, have you gotten your application in? I saw
Oh God.
everything's due
We got
real
we
quick.
got like 3 weeks or something.
Oh, that's crazy. And it's like, it's not like you can go out and film stuff. I mean, I don't know how different states are operating. I don't know how, because you're in New Jersey, I think.
Yeah, we're in Jersey.
Oh man, like,
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. I might try and use some stuff from last year since I didn't get the call this past year. So
yeah.
we'll see. And I thought I had a good video. I was really upset about it. I was like, this is my best video. I'm gonna get on, no doubt. I played into what they wanted, blah blah blah. No call, and I was like, and then COVID hit.
Oh
So
man.
honestly, I might have been getting one, but COVID hit around the time that the calls were going out. So, um,
Yeah. Man,
you know,
it's still like, because I was there, man. I was like ready to go. I was gonna compete in LA.
yeah.
Just literally, I'm trying to,
So crazy to me.
I didn't exactly meet the producers. So I don't know their names. There were
Yeah,
maybe one of
it's
them was.
probably Anthony Storm and Kent Weed.
Yeah. I don't think I met Ken, but I think it was Anthony who gave the talk. Everyone had to call
Yeah,
in,
probably.
and they're like, "Yeah, guys, we're postponing, or they're canceling, postponing the season." I was flying out 2 days later, the day after and I was like, "Oh man!"
That's so
So I'm
that's so
probably
wild.
not this year because I think we just flying is going to be too chaos. But I'm just going to take the exact same video and just
Yeah, and just resubmit it. Maybe with a little bit of updates. Say, hey, look, I got this, and this now. And then
so yeah, we'll see what happens. But yeah, man, I do hope you get on this season. Who knows how it's going to be? Hopefully it's the normal one
yeah.
because man, you want to go to Vegas. You want to.
Vegas is fun. Vegas is fun. So I mean, I was looking forward to getting out there this year. But whatever, it is what it is. Things happen, and I'm just gonna keep training and moving.
No, absolutely. Have they before you go, have they announced the NNL finals at all? Is that
They so yes and no. So I do know it's going to be in April.
okay?
I have an idea of where it might be. I don't know if I'm allowed to say anything about it yet, though.
Oh, that's fair. That's fair. I just wasn't
Yeah.
sure if it was public information yet, but
Yeah. I do know. I know they extend the season. I believe it's going to be April, May-ish time.
yeah. Okay. Okay.
So
Okay.
we'll see. Hopefully, a lot of this is cleared up by then. And
Yeah.
how is it over there, COVID and everything? Is it?
Well, my city probably took the most extreme precautions. We've
Oh,
effectively,
so that's good. Extreme precautions. Got it.
yeah, we've effectively been locked down. I mean, we've had two waves. We had a
Yeah.
3 week gap between the second wave, but I mean,
Okay.
total, we don't have anything in terms of case numbers in comparison,
Yeah.
or deaths or anything. My city was probably the first city to go into like stage 4, where I think now you guys are talking about curfews and all that stuff. Yeah, we've been through that. We were in that for 6 weeks.
Which was good.
Um,
Get it over with and.
well, yeah,
Nice.
it's I am trying to keep up to date with what's happening in the US, which is crazy. But does it work? Well, I think so. I think so. I
Yeah.
mean, we're kind of out of lockdown now. We've had 24 days now of no cases.
That's good.
Touch wood. What's
Yeah.
happening is in another state in South Australia at this, whoever's listening at this point, they had another outbreak, but I think it was from an immigrant or something. I'm not too sure. I think it was there illegally or something and got it, and just so now they're going into lockdown for like 4 weeks.
Yeah.
But most of the country is kind of open. The borders are kind of shut between states, but
Okay.
the only state that's actually like kind of open for like international travel is on the other side of the country. They were never really hit. I don't think they closed
Interesting.
at
Wow.
all. Yeah.
Do you guys have to wear masks and stuff, or?
Well, in my state, yes. The laws are slowly being pulled back. So
Yeah.
it wasn't like a national mandate thing. It was obviously up to
Got it.
the leaders of each state. And
Yeah.
for at least probably the last 7-8 weeks, maybe longer, we've had to wear masks.
Okay.
And then now you just have to take it with you. And if you go indoors or if you're outdoors but too close to people, then I'd rather just
Yeah.
keep it on. If
Yeah. It just
it's
makes life easier.
just easier. And then
It's
just
less to think about.
yeah, well, I hate wearing it.
Yeah.
At
I
least,
don't think there's a person on this planet that likes wearing it, but
yeah. Well, I see some of you guys training with them on. I'm like, man, I don't know how you guys do that. Like, that's
I
just
don't do it. I don't do it. I'm luckily I'm in the gym after hours and like, I got my crew and whatever. So like whatever. I mean, for me, personally, I'm not too concerned about it for myself. And I'm not really around people that have issues. Not that I would ever want to contract it and give it to anyone. I do my
yeah,
part in like staying safe and wearing my mask and like I don't want that to get taken the wrong way, but
yeah.
I do my part, but like I don't know.
I mean, the science. I mean,
Try and be realistic about it. So
yeah. I mean, the science for our age group is it's
yeah.
it's not too bad. Obviously, I mean,
Yeah, and if I
feel
was seeing
bad,
like my
but
grandmother every other week or every day or something like that, I would, I'd
different.
definitely be more uptight about it. But
Yeah,
it's me and
yeah,
Abby and the dog, so I'm
yeah.
like,
No, absolutely. Mate, but yeah, thank you so much for coming on. Send Abby my
hey,
regards. And I
will
think
do.
I can't remember. I can't remember what it was. We were chatting about something. I can't remember. And I was like, oh, you two should like take turns or something with doing the laundry or something. That's right. I kind of because I think
Uh-oh.
I was listening to Jessie. She was saying how her and Chris
Chris, yeah.
they always competing about everything. So like if she wins Ninja or something. I don't know. Like they got to do laundry. They got to do laundry for like the week or something. I don't know.
I'll just make sure I keep winning.
Yeah, need to keep winning. But no, thank you so much, man, for coming on. And yeah,
Yeah, thank you for having me again.
no worries, man. We'll definitely be in touch.
Awesome. It
Take care.
was nice talking to you.
Likewise. See you, bro.
See you later.
All right.